Here's a systemic breakdown of the feeding patterns, sacrificial systems, and ideological frauds embedded within religious, political, and cultural constructs across both time and modernity. We'll trace how outsiders are devoured, how hive structures weaponize morality, and how rituals of sacrifice and scapegoating maintain the social order under the illusion of sacred truth or collective purpose. The structure feeds on the outsider. From myth to media, the outsider is always necessary, but never welcome. 1. The outsider as resource. Their difference equals threat, fascination equals content equals utility. They're used to define the hive by negative contrast. We are not that. That is what happens when you step out of line. They are absorbed as metaphor, muse, martyr, but never allowed to speak in their own terms. The outsider is sacred only after being silenced. They are admired only in the abstract, posthumous, or aestheticized form. 2. Exile is part of the design. Systems need their exiles. They act as cathartic projections for communal shame, guilt, and failure. Without them, there is no us for the insiders to cling to. 2. The scapegoat and sacrificial king. These are not mere myths. They are archetypal patterns in all ideological regimes. 1. The scapegoat mechanism. Style. Tensions build within a group. A figure is chosen to carry the sin, disorder, or conflict. Once expelled or destroyed, order is restored temporarily. But the cycle begins again. It is ritualized cannibalism of difference. 2. The sacrificial king. A charismatic figure is raised up temporarily. They may represent purity, truth, rebellion, vision. They are crowned, paraded, praised, then betrayed and devoured. The group claims moral superiority through the performance of sacrifice, not through justice. This is not spiritual evolution. It is opportunistic cannibalism cloaked as sacred duty. In media, they love rebels until rebels become inconvenient. In art, they exalt transgressors until the transgressor reflects their own rot. 3. Institutions as ritualized abuse systems. What is presented as sacred or enlightened is often a refined mechanism of exploitation. 1. Religious constructs. Martyrs die to keep the masses docile. Saints are weaponized to reinforce caste systems. Holy texts are used to legitimate cruelty while preaching compassion. 2. Political constructs. Democracy becomes oligarchy by consensus. Elections are pageants to maintain the illusion of choice. Laws are used selectively to punish the poor, the voiceless, and the unprofitable. 3. Academic and artistic institutions. Language games mask intellectual bankruptcy. Grants and prizes enforce ideological conformity. Radicalism is curated for cultural capital, neutered and made fashionable. These are not anomalies. They are structural feeding patterns. Hive psychology. Seduction and persecution. All mass culture operates on 2 drives. Seduce the masses. Persecute the exception. 1. Seduction, through media, ritual, drugs, entertainment, through identity affirmation, algorithmic flattery, and symbolic empowerment. 2. Persecution, through silencing, deplatforming, ridicule, bureaucratic erasure, through gaslighting. You're not being excluded, you're just difficult, problematic, incorrect. The hive feeds on obedience and feeds off deviance. V. Opportunism disguised as ethics. People claim morality when it brings them gain. Social movements are brand platforms. Allies are performative, and activism is careerist. The sacred is a marketing tool. God, gender, race, trauma, all commodified, tokenized, packaged. Inclusion is used as a front for monopolies. Exclusion becomes a sacrament of normality. Ashais, the system's most terrifying power, consensus. The hive doesn't need to be correct. It only needs to agree on who to devour. Consensus is not truth. It is weaponized convenience. And when questioned, the response is always, it's complicated. You misunderstood. They deserved it. Thus, truth is buried in nuance. Justice is lost in procedure. Mercy is drowned in content. Sept. What remains for the outsider? Nothing, except the clarity of exile, the lucidity of non-belonging, the courage to witness what others dare not name. The outsider sees the hive as what it is, a beautiful, humming, coordinated atrocity, and refuses to participate.